Hey gang, just wanted to make a quick video to answer a question from a viewer and explain why cabbage juice might magnify reflux symptoms and steps you could take to turn that around. Let's jump in.
TC Hale is not a doctor and does not claim to be a doctor or licensed in any type of medical field. Don't be an idiot and use anything heard on the show as medical advice. This information should be used for educational purposes only, and you should contact your doctor for any medical advice. Now get off me.
So it was over on our video for gastritis, a different viewpoint, that Marwan user something or other said, cabbage juice worsens my reflux. I haven't seen anyone complaining about this. Am I the only person who's experiencing this? And definitely not, though it's not super common. But when we're looking at things that, oh, somebody says this is a good step to take, but this makes my reflux worse, we really want to think about what's going on, because in a lot of cases, this thing may be improving the situation, yet magnifying a symptom. And that doesn't mean just if something magnifies your reflux that it's good for you. That's certainly not the case. And I don't know Marwan, something or other user. Sorry, I'm not saying that right for sure. And I don't know their situation, so I'm certainly not giving them any advice. But we can talk about this situation a little bit and understand what may be going on. So one thing to think about if somebody is having acid reflux is this is usually caused by a lack of stomach acid. It's not caused by too much stomach acid like advertisers want us to believe. There's a valve at the bottom of the esophagus that's supposed to close so food and other stuff doesn't come back up. The thing is that LES valve, or lower esophageal sphincter, is triggered by stomach acid. So if someone just has a small amount of stomach acid, then if they don't have enough to trigger that valve to close, then the small amount is going to come back up and burn them. So when we're looking at cabbage juice has the ability to magnify some gas issues for some people. So if something is going to create some gas in somebody's stomach, then that gas is going to create more pressure and it's going to push more stuff back up. So if you have a small amount of acid in there, anything that's going to increase pressure or gas is going to push more of that acid up. So that could be magnifying that symptom. But the thing is, if somebody's watching a gastritis video, you got to kind of wonder, do they have gastritis? And cabbage juice seems to be one of those things that really has the ability to improve the inflammation that's going on with gastritis. And in that gastritis video, we'll put a link to that gastritis video in the description below if you need to learn more about this, but it's usually caused by some type of bacterial overgrowth. It's not caused by having too much stomach acid like maybe we thought back in the 80s. It's usually caused by an overgrowth. So if someone has some type of bacterial overgrowth in the stomach where that bacteria should not be, that bacteria is also creating a lot of gas. And a lot of times that's why some type of food like a cabbage juice type situation will create this magnified gas, because it's a reaction from the bacteria in that stomach that's really magnifying the amount of gas that's available. So a person might need to take some steps to reduce that overgrowth a little bit, and we'll put a link in the description below for our video on steps to reduce bacteria in the stomach if you need to dig into that a little bit. But if they can take steps to reduce an overgrowth, then they might be able to use some cabbage juice that would allow them to reduce that inflammation, and then take the right steps to improve that stomach acid level so that they can trigger that valve to close and stop the reflux. So a lot of times someone needs to acidify the stomach more in order to trigger that valve to close and stop the reflux. But if somebody has gastritis, a lot of inflammation in the stomach, if you increase the acid level in the stomach, that's going to be really painful. That's going to increase the inflammation that person experiences in their stomach. So the proper step is usually to fix the gastritis and then increase that stomach acid to fix the acid reflux. It's just kind of important to understand what might be going on. Like, look at zinc, for example. Someone could start taking zinc and that could magnify their acid reflux symptoms. Now, zinc doesn't cause acid reflux, but zinc is something that the body needs to be able to make more hydrochloric acid in the stomach. So if the reason that a person's stomach acid is low is because they don't have enough minerals to really make that hydrochloric acid, then in a lot of cases that can perpetuate for a long time because they can't acidify their food well enough to break it down and get all the minerals out of it but then the body doesn't have enough minerals to be able to make that hydrochloric acid. So a person could take some zinc, and now all of a sudden the body has more of the resources that it needs to start making some more hydrochloric acid, but maybe it doesn't have enough resources to make enough hydrochloric acid to trigger that valve to close. So then the person's going to be like, oh man, I'm having more reflux now. Well, yeah, the body's making more acid, but it's not yet enough to trigger that valve to close. So that more acid coming back up is going to be an increase in the symptoms that they experience. So they're going to be like, oh man, zinc gives me reflux. That's not really what's happening. The zinc is just allowing the body to operate at a better level. It's helping the body function more along the lines of the way that it's supposed to function. You just haven't improved enough things to really make everything work the right way yet. So just kind of try to understand what you're looking at when you're seeing something, magnify a symptom, especially when we're looking at reflux. Sometimes you might be moving in the right direction and helping the body function more. You just haven't fixed enough to really stop the symptom from showing up. So I hope that helps you understand what could be going on with the cabbage juice. If you want to understand how to correct those reflux symptoms a little bit better, you can jump over right now and check out our video on why do I have acid reflux or GERD. I can't wait to hear about your results.